Welcome to the Breadwinners. We're back for season 5 and taking your questions about work, life, and everything in between. I'm Jennifer Owens. I served as editorial director of Working Mother Media and founded the Working Mother Research Institute.
And I'm Rachael Ellison. I'm an executive coach and management consultant who works with companies big and small to design workplace policies that work for all employees. There's nothing we like more than talking about work-life strategies, but we know that in the real world, such questions can be very personal and a little prickly. In this season of the Breadwinners, we tackle them all.
Rachael.
Yes.
So, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing good too. So, here we are, just, two women doing good, just hanging out.
Yep.
So, today's question comes from one of your favorite breadwinners. Me.
Huh. Oh, great. Okay.
So, but I suspect that my question may be impacting a lot of people right now, a lot of our listeners. So, and for once, you have access to all the details.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. All right. So I wrote it in the form of a question. So here we go, because I'm a professional. So once again, it seems like we're in a season of layoffs. You read about them every day, big ones, small ones, stories where things are going bankrupt and the filings are expected soon. And my company just announced yet again a big round of layoffs and is saying there are more to come and could continue throughout the year. So it seems that job stability just isn't a thing anymore, but it makes me so anxious. Like, how do you put it aside to focus on your work? Do we all just have to learn how to live with this particular strain of anxiety now? What can I do about it? What can we all do about it? About basically rampant job instability. From signed, a breadwinner.
Signed, someone you know. It's a great point. And we were chatting a little bit before we started recording about, this is a very anxiety-provoking time. And when you said that the question was from you, I started to suspect what it was about, and my brain started to go on its road. And what I was thinking, what came to me very quickly was the Great Resignation, right? So we've had this kind of, like, we went through external shifts that drove people to leave their jobs, in many cases, whether or not that meant, in some cases they didn't have one, in some cases it was, people were ready to jump ship because the changes that they were seeing in their environment were so seismic that it really changed their perspective on what was important. And many people, they're not all, a good chunk of people made a decision that, whether it was to honor their values, whether it was to manage work-life concerns and challenges, whatever drove them to make the decision, that was a big wave, right? So it went in that direction where it was about individual agency. And then,
and it was real. Was it real? Like, I mean, when it was happening, it was a big media topic, but was it real in the end?
Was it real? It was real. I mean, it was.
Okay.
I think, and even if I don't have the numbers top of mind,
but there were like beyond like the specific and in the people who felt pushed out or felt they had to make a change. I mean, each of these stories, the anecdotal stories, were heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Or energizing, and they're like, yeah, that's awful. But I didn't, like, if in the end, did it prove to actually be something? So
I think it's not so much whether it was a phenomenon. What's coming to mind is really these waves, like these ripple effects of these changes that are happening. Like, we are in a time of massive change, period. And there are, folks who have wanted to jump ship from their jobs because of the changes. There are folks who are going to lose their jobs because of the way the environment is shifting and changing right now. I think we're just
Yeah.
we continue to be in this moment of massive change. And something that you and I used to talk about all the time, or maybe just me, but like a lot about the gig economy and how it's all changing. So
Oh, yeah.
you see that rhetoric, like I've been hearing that for years. I've been talking about it for years. But then somehow, like everything sort of felt like it was the same-ish. Like things didn't really feel like they were shifting throughout the workforce. And I think what
Yeah,
we're
that's
embarking
interesting.
on is
Right.
this time of constant change. And people are recoiling and responding, and it's just gonna kind of be this up and down. And I think that it really freaks me out. Like I'm with you. Like
Hmm.
it's a very
Yeah.
unsettling thing to be dealing with that much change. And I am starting to come to the realization, and I certainly encourage coaching clients to do this, but just to say, okay, like I have to put, you have the present moment, right? You have the present moment and you
Right.
have the future and you have the law of attraction. And like, what do you want to happen? How can you operate from, I want to say, an abundance mindset, because it sounds corny, but like when you like expansive
Yeah.
place, like, okay, what is the opportunity for me now? Rather than, oh my God, what's going to happen to the lights if I can't get a job by this date, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think we have to just become more comfortable with that up and down. It's interesting. I have one of my best friends, and well, two of my friends, but my best friend and her partner, they're in the theater business. And the past few years for them, I mean, the past 18 months have been really busy, but before that, it was like, are we ever going to go back to work? Like, what is happening? They were so thrown
Yeah.
off, and it was such a huge change. And now they're on this like uber fast, like cycle of like things moving forward almost before like whack-a-mole, like just as faster than they can keep up. I mean, they're keeping up great, but you know, I'm thinking
Things do
about
ebb
my
and flow. That is true.
they do ebb and flow.
Yeah.
But if you talk to them 2 years ago, particularly my friend's partner, the choreographer, was like, she thought, who knows? It felt like this big abyss. And
Yeah.
it was like everybody was doing cake baking on like TikTok, and like just like nobody knew what to do with themselves. And she was just
Oh,
nominated for 2 Tony Awards on Tuesday. So like because of how the market, how things just evolved very quickly in one period of time. So
yeah. I mean,
I
that kind of an industry would just kill
I
me.
think that
I just,
it's
it's like,
easier said
oh
than
my
done to
God.
intellectually get on board with that. But I think it's a fair
Yeah.
point.
It's just always with you, this stuff now.
What'd you say? Cheo?
Right.
13, right? Like I thought I could control for different factors. And it doesn't work that way. That was my 30-year-old perspective. And I think the older I get, the more I'm like, okay, we can't control it. We just have to ride the wave. And riding the
But
wave
I
is
don't
kind
want
of
to
the
be in this wave.
whole thing. But it's terrifying when you've spent the past 40 plus years
Right.
doing like really just thinking that it works a different way. But I do think that I'm not saying that we don't need to be our best and do
Right.
our best and it's just all random. I'm not saying that. I think it's just kind of like, how do you yes and the situation
Yeah.
based on
And I've
what you're bringing to
done
the
that,
table.
and there's also just a general hustle. Pick yourself up and the like. I tell you, the worst part of this
Yeah.
layoff, and I have been laid off before, but the worst part was sitting with the possibility for like a month and a half.
Mhm.
And every conversation at work being people talking about like, well, if we're still
Mm.
here on blah, blah, blah date, like a bit of gallows humor, a bit of reality. And I don't want to be laid off. I liked my
Right,
job a
right.
lot, I like the team a lot, but it is much better to just know. I think the what was
Mm,
killing me was it's coming. And I've been in other
yeah,
situations where,
yeah,
because
right.
now we're all remote, but when you've been in the office and you start seeing weird conversations, you see like the president of the division, like, talking to the CFO in weird meeting. You're like, oh no, what's happening? So there's always the lead up to it, which seems to take an eternity when you're
Yeah,
in it, but then turns out to
right,
just be a couple weeks or something.
right. No, it feels, I mean, I think that
I mean, are we ever
that
going to have job stability though? I just don't
makes
know. I,
sense,
I have
right? We're
friends who have
just,
had, like, have been with the same employer in different roles for decades. I have a couple, there's always those people,
yeah,
but I don't know.
that is a choice that people are making or can make in certain situations,
To
right?
stay put.
Stay put for decades. And if that fulfills you professionally in a way that you're comfortable with, like, great.
Yeah. I mean, I
If
am glad that I didn't. I'm glad for all the experience, some less than others, but all the cool people I've gotten to meet, things that I've gotten to do and
yeah,
learn and all that. In the end, and I'm the philosophical one at work for people who had never been laid off before. I'm like, I'm here to tell you, you and I ended up at the same spot and I've been laid off before.
yeah,
You will survive.
yeah, yeah,
I'm really good at sharing that. But then for yourself, it's kind of like, hey, this is exhausting.
yeah.
I don't want to do it
That,
again.
that's the
And
thing. That's the
it's
thing.
like, and I'm the type of person who jumps into every job with like both feet, like, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it. This is going to be it. And it just never is.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, it's just kind of
It's
a
kind of
going in
life
change
now.
world. I mean, the skeptical, the not it's not skeptic so much as when I think about, what we're pushing for, the kind of change that we're pushing for in the workplace, to be something you and I've always talked about, but
Yeah.
as we've hit this new era of like one and needing more flexibility and how can we operate differently and how do
Right.
we
Support
I
the
think you
complex
can't
worker
change when
with,
without like it's the
yeah.
ecosystem is shifting. Like all of the kind of basic foundations that we thought were, permanently in place, we're saying they need to change. And I think there are other ways that, that it's a system. So it's going to change all around. And it's just the reality.
Well, you reminding me of all the chatter around the gig economy, which I guess is still here, right? Is it here?
Yeah.
My point being, is this anxiety and instability, is it changing the how we're setting up workplaces at all? Or is it just, nope, we're doing the same thing and then everyone gets laid off and then we start over again?
We'll see. Right. I mean,
I
I
want
would
the
like to,
answer. I need you to tell me what the
I
answer
know,
is.
I know. But like, one thing that I've
This is
learned with
hard when you write your own question for yourself.
Yes. But I mean, I think we know the answer, which is you need to take the best next step that you can take
Mhm.
and kind of, I think, suspend the sort of
Fear, anxiety.
fear based on like it's rational. The fear is totally rational.
Mhm.
But like you said, you have been here before and you have gotten through it. And I think the question is, what place can bring you the most energy and focus and reward financially and otherwise
Right.
that would be different from what you just had. So I think that
Right.
that's
Well, and
the
so
question.
then I don't know. I'm not sure that there's anything that I can do differently because there will be another job. They're just,
Uh-huh.
history proves that I will get some sort of job and the like. But
Yep.
And there will be anxious times with that. There'll be frustrations and the joys and all that sort of stuff again. And I don't know. I guess I almost want to start thinking about how to do it differently this time, but I don't know that it's like you get so bottled up or so, you know, into the job hunt and proving yourself and pitching yourself and all that. And then you get the job and you want to figure out stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I guess that then the anxiety hits when, some media company covers you that layoffs are coming. And
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything to do differently to prepare for that, to be less exposed somehow. Your heart
Yeah.
is worried about it.
I think it's the practice of getting comfortable with change. I mean, I can't really believe that I'm saying this because
I'm intrigued. I'm listening. I am listening.
In December, I really took this, like, as I've called it, like an opposite George, like in Seinfeld, when George is just like, you can, I do things the George way, and then I'm going to just try doing it the opposite and see what happens. And, I think I'm very prone to, just for myself, like, thinking about things a certain way. And,
Yeah.
Over the past 6 months or so, I've just said, you know what? It's really like mindfulness is kind of going to win over like trying to reverse engineer or future engineer or whatever what comes next. So I think that's the piece to practice. I don't think there is another strategy.
Yeah, because what are you going to do about a systemic, like a global company that you're really going to, and let's all assume we're doing our best work and doing great work and creative and wonderful people. And I counsel people when they're concerned about layoffs. And it's like, if it does happen, dollars to donuts, it's just a numbers decision. It wasn't personal.
Yeah.
And it's hard. The first time you're laid off, it's too emotional, you take it personally, but
Yeah.
all right. Well, okay. You have me thinking in new ways. Okay. So what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to be mindful of my own emotions over this, I guess. Is that what I've learned?
Yes. Take one step at a time, one day at a time.
But will you tell me how it ends so that I can not?
I'll tell you your ending and you tell me mine.
All right. That's a deal. Okay. We'll do that on another episode when everything works out and the whole story is done. And then I guess we're dead. I don't know. I don't know where this is leading, but.
Oh, true. Well.
I'm sorry.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on The Breadwinners. Do you have a sticky work-life question for us? Send it our way at thebreadwinnerspod@gmail.com. We're here to help.
And please take a moment to rate and review our show. It really helps. And of course, join us on Facebook or Instagram at The Breadwinners Podcast. And until next time, keep hustling.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.